What's going on, guys? It's that one Total Drama guy back again with another Total Drama What If, and this one's a big one because it's one of the biggest complaints people say about Total Drama in the first season is the fact that Heather's always getting plot armor, like in this episode, and how she won the immunity pass on a random chance after kissing Trent and causing Trent and Gwen to break up by saying both of them have been saying mean things about each other behind their back. So, today we're doing What If Heather Never Got the Immunity Pass. Now, obviously, this means Heather would be eliminated in the episode, and Gwen and Trent are going to have some complications, but I don't think they'll resolve it. I don't think they're going to explain what happened. I think they're both just going to be mad at each other, and LeShawna and Bridget are going to be on Gwen's side. But we move on to episode 17. Here, this episode, Duncan still forms the boys' alliance against Jeff, Owen, DJ, but now Trent. And obviously, both Trent and Gwen are going to be very upset after, what they heard from Heather. And for, the people that get immunity, I think LeShawna's still going to win immunity. And I think, because Bridget gets eliminated right after, Owen and DJ. So I think Bridget and Lindsay, because now Lindsay's on her own. She has nobody else. So I think she's going to try to start forwarding friends with other girls. So I think when Bridget and Lindsay come across DJ and Owen, instead of what Heather did and winning immunity and not sharing with Lindsay, I think here Bridget will share with Lindsay. So that's 3 people that get immunity this episode. As for Owen spilling the beans on the Boys Alliance, I don't think it will happen in this episode, because I feel like that was just a really situation where it's based on timing and when Gwen and Owen are talking. The fact that Gwen started the conversation talking about how he doesn't know where Duncan is. I feel like since it's different timing between when Owen and DJ get caught and the fact that Gwen's upset because Trent broke up with her, I just don't think it will happen in this episode. So, as for the elimination, like I said, Bridget, Lindsay, and LeShawna all have immunity. So, this one's a big elimination, because I feel like the Boys Alliance are going to go after Gwen. And I feel like Duncan would do this for 2 reasons. One, to make sure Trent is loyal to the Alliance, because I feel like Trent would be the biggest outlier, since Duncan, Jeff, and DJ were all part of the same team, and Owen is just an idiot. So I feel like Trent here is the only outlier, so they're going to vote off Gwen to trust Trent's security to the team. And then I feel like the second reason is that Gwen and Trent don't get back together and form another alliance on their own. So I feel like those 3 are all going to vote off Gwen. So we got Duncan, Jeff, and Owen. I'll get to Trent in a second. As for the girls, I still think they're all going to vote together, and I think they're all going to vote off Trent. So that's Lindsay, LeShawna, and Bridget. Oh yeah, I forgot to put DJ here. Then, right before the elimination, I feel like Gwen and Trent's going to talk to Gwen. He's going to apologize for kissing her. I feel like here's where they're going to settle things out. And then Gwen's going to realize that they shouldn't vote her off and that things are being complicated right now. So, they decide to vote off Izzy. I think that's just going to be, because Trent doesn't want to vote any of the boys off. Gwen doesn't want to vote any of her girls off. I feel like Izzy's just the only outlier here. So I feel like Gwen is going to get LeShawna, Bridget, or Lindsay, any of them, to vote off Izzy. But I don't think all of them will vote. I think at least one of them is still going to vote for Trent. So the votes are 4 votes against Gwen. That is Duncan, Owen, Jeff, and DJ. 3 votes against Izzy. That is Gwen, Trent, LeShawna. 3 votes against Trent. That is Izzy, Lindsay, or Bridget. So, that means that Gwen is eliminated since it's 3-3-4. I hope that makes sense. So, Gwen being eliminated, they apologize. Trent says that he didn't vote off Gwen. Duncan gets mad at them. Secrets out that there's a boys' alliance since the girls get suspicious. And we move on to episode 18, the Biker Challenge. This one's a doozy. Okay, so people that I think would crash. DJ. And then, of course, Izzy and LeShawna still go on their thing. LeShawna gets mad for Izzy for that. And then Jeff, I still think he's going to forget breaks. And I feel like here, Duncan's going to sabotage Trent for not voting off Gwen with them. So I feel like it's only going to be these 4, since Gwen and Duncan still make it. Lindsay still makes it. And I don't know, I just feel like Bridget, she would be able to she's that perfect middle person. She's going to be able to do it. So for the race, Duncan and Owen still wipe out. And Lindsay not having to spend her time building Heather's bikes and have a much better bike. And I think she's going to be able to beat Bridget. So I think Lindsay's going to be the winner. And now here's where normally Bridget would go home. But in the episode, Heather says,
Okay, I'm so confused.
It means I can't save you unless I give you my invincibility. But I can't do that. Too risky.
So, I think since Bridget gave the immunity to Lindsay when they found DJ and Owen in the hide-and-seek episode, I feel like here Lindsay would give Bridget the immunity, and instead it would go into a vote. And Bridget's going to be very thankful. So Bridget's the only one with the immunity. So now they got to vote off someone. Okay, so here's the elimination thing for this episode. LeShawna is going to want to go vote against Izzy since Izzy took her on a wild goose chase. Izzy still thinks she's friends with LeShawna, so she's just going to do what the other girls do. Bridget's going to vote for whoever Lindsay votes for, and I feel like Lindsay's going to vote for Duncan. So that's 3 votes against Duncan and 1 vote against Izzy. I feel like Duncan's going to go after LeShawna since she's the strongest one out of everybody. And since Bridget has immunity, so you would normally go for Bridget like he did in Hide Be Sneaky, but since Bridget has immunity, he can't. So that's 5 votes against LeShawna, which means LeShawna is eliminated. And then comes the Scary Movie Challenge. Now here, I think it's going to be DJ that gets eliminated in this episode. Because although Heather's not here to shave her legs, I still feel like DJ would be scared the most. It would be close with Lindsay, but I still think it's going to be DJ that's gets scared the most, and he's going to be eliminated. Episode 20... this episode was the deer hunt. Well, not the deer hunt episode. This episode was like the hunt the animal down episode. Fun fact about this episode, Gwen won this challenge, and she did not win immunity. She was in the bottom 2. She looked scared like she was going to be eliminated. I'll show it up here. She looked like scared like she was going to be eliminated. So, for some reason, whoever wins this challenge does not actually win immunity. So, I don't have to go over whoever wins the challenge. We're just going to go straight to the elimination here. And I think Duncan, realizing that he has more boys over girls, he can just vote whichever girl feels like they're going to be the hardest to compete with. And I feel like it's going to be Izzy. Because the entire episode, Izzy had a tranquilizer gun. So Duncan, Jeff, Trent, all going to vote off Izzy. And then here, because Izzy's already mad at Owen, I don't know if Owen will vote Izzy. Because, like, in the last episode, Owen still pushes Izzy in front of Chef to, like, escape the psycho killer. And actually, in episode 19, no one really gets saved since Gwen was the one that defeated the psycho killer. Probably Duncan would bring the chainsaw out and kill him, but who knows. But like I said, Owen pushed Izzy in episode 19. But I feel like with enough convincing, Owen would vote off Izzy, just like how Duncan convinced Chef to vote off Richie, even though he didn't actually do it. But I feel like here Owen would actually do it since he realizes that Izzy's kind of a lost cause now that she doesn't really like him. So it doesn't really matter who the girls vote off, although I do think they would vote off Duncan. Because Izzy is now eliminated with 4 votes against her. And we move on to episode 21. And here are the pairs. It's going to be Duncan and Trent, Jeff and Bridget, Lindsay and Owen. So let's get into the first part of the challenge. Obviously, Owen's going to win the eating part of the challenge. Very simple. And I think here, besides like their differences, I think Duncan and Trent are going to win the second part of the challenge. And for the third part of the challenge, it's going to be Jeff and Bridget working together. And stuff during this challenge, I feel like Owen's going to be very kind to Lindsay. And Duncan is going to like this. I also think Duncan and Trent are going to be arguing a lot this episode. I feel like Duncan would start breaking down on Trent about Gwen. And then Trent's going to mention Courtney, which is going to get Duncan mad. Because you don't mess with Duncan when you talk about Courtney. Trust me, you do not. So, as of the elimination, I feel like here Duncan's going to want to get rid of Lindsay because of the fact that he can't get rid of Bridget. And he can't get rid of the end of the boys. And he can't get rid of Bridget because of the fact that Bridget and Jeff are dating. Jeff agrees to this. Votes off Lindsay. Trent, on the other hand, I think Trent's sick of Duncan. Duncan's the reason why him and his girlfriend couldn't get back together. And I think Trent's just done with Duncan's shenanigans in the alliance. Obviously, Bridget's also going to vote off Duncan. And Owen, I don't think Owen has the courage to vote off Lindsay. Those two were connecting too much. So I think Owen's actually going to go vote for Bridget. So that's 3 votes against Duncan, 2 votes against Lindsay, and 1 vote against Bridget. Which means Duncan here is eliminated, and his empire falls. As for episode 22, I think, because it all depends on who Katie and Sadie say, because then Courtney's going to be like, if you like that person, keep them in. So I think they're going to say Bridget, because Bridget was the one that came to, like, help out Sadie when Katie got eliminated. So they're going to say her name, and we move on to episode 23. In this episode, like earlier, Owen's still going to be going same with Mr. Coconut, so this episode's going to be a non-elimination. So we move on to episode 24. And as for the teams in episode 24, I think it's going to be Owen and Trent and Lindsay and Jeff. And I don't think either of the teams are going to win this challenge. I think they're both going to fail and they're both going to need Chef's help. Because look at the teams you got here. You got Owen and Trent. Both of them barely have any survival skills. Trent even fell into the quicksand. And then you got Lindsay and Jeff, who I think are going to be even worse. So I think everybody's going to lose, and Chef's just going to pick the person to go home. I don't think he's going to pick Jeff, since Jeff was the second to last person to get out during Chef's challenge back in episode 12. So I think Jeff's completely good. And in the original, Owen is good because Chef picks Duncan over Owen. So obviously he likes Owen over some other characters. So I think he's going to Owen safe. As between Trent and Lindsay, I don't know who Chef would pick. I don't know. I know Lindsay was the first one to ring the bell in episode 12 for Chef's challenge. So I think based off of that, Chef's just going to get rid of Lindsay. So we move on to episode 25. All dudes. Owen obviously isn't going to get voted off. I feel like Jeff, he would be able to handle it more than Trent would. So like Trent's going to be eliminated here. And the finale is Owen and Jeff. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.